Congressman, welcome back to the program. You sent a letter to the president asking him to unlock all congressionally approved foreign aid to Israel that may still be held up. How much money are we talking about here?
Well, we really don't know because they've been slow rolling it for a year now since the attack on October the 7th. So we really don't know, but we know that there are things that they have withheld. For instance, the only one that's actually been publicized was the 2,000-pound bombs that they withheld 6 months ago or so. But the thing about that withholding was they intentionally withheld it and notified Congress, but they also withheld the guidance systems that would have made those 2,000-pound bombs guided, which made no sense.
More strategic, okay.
Yeah.
And you also in the letter asked President Biden to enforce all sanctions in place that are designed to deter Iran's offensive efforts against the U.S. and allies. Same question there. What sanctions is the Biden administration not enforcing right now that he could?
Let's just take the oil sanctions. When Trump left office, Iran had $4 billion in reserves. $4 billion. They have almost $100 billion today because they're selling their oil. They're selling it surreptitiously, and we're not enforcing our sanctions, which is giving them the money that they send to Hezbollah, they send to the Houthis, they send to Hamas. So that's the money. Their oil sale money is what they're using to fund terrorism around the world. Have
you heard from the White House on this?
No.
Do you expect to?
No.
I mean, he's almost a lame duck president since he's not running again. It's surprising to me that there would be more pressure on the Biden administration not to try to curb some of this money.
You would think so. But I had 5 of my colleagues sign the letter with me. I want to make sure there were 6 of us on this letter. So we may hear from them, but I don't expect to.
How do you think Israel should respond to Iran? They've been talking about, striking ports, striking nuclear facilities. What makes the most sense right now?
Well, right now they are in the fight for their near-term security. Gaza, West Bank, actually, because of the recent terrorist attack, and certainly Lebanon. They want to clear out and get rid of the near-term threat. So they're focused on that. Now, there are 3 possible targets in Iran. You can hit the oil production facilities or the pumping stations. You can hit the nuclear facilities, or you can hit their launch sites. Now, I understand that they've got a number of mobile launchers, but if you degrade their launch sites, that supports their near-term fight in Gaza and Lebanon. So I don't expect them to hit the nuclear facilities. I expect them to hit the launch sites as a priority, and then perhaps the oil production or shipping facilities, because that's where Iran gets its money. So if they will degrade the launch sites, cut off some of their money, that supports their near-term fight that they have in Lebanon and Gaza.
Congressman, there's a lot of concern about this escalating into a wider war. The invasion of southern Lebanon by Israel, what we're seeing with the Iranian counteroffensive with the missile strikes the other day, it seems like we're pretty close to a wider war already. Do you think we're there yet?
I don't think we're there. Now, concerning was a report that I think is as yet unconfirmed that Israel attacked a Russian airbase last night because Iran had just dropped off some weapon systems for Hezbollah. So I don't think we're there because in Lebanon, what they're trying to do is move Hezbollah back. The UNIFIL, the UN organization in Lebanon, is supposed to be keeping Hezbollah north of the Litani River all these decades. They're not doing it. So the near term, I believe that Israel is trying to move Hezbollah back. Now, whether or not they can deal with all 150,000 missiles that Hezbollah supposedly has, that's a bigger mission, and I don't know how they're going to handle that. So they're going to respond to Iran. And I think they're going to respond to Iran with attack on, as I said, the oil production facilities and the launch sites.
Where are those Hezbollah missiles? In southern Lebanon?
Oh, they're all over Lebanon, the Bekaa Valley and other places. No, they're spread across.
I mean, that would seem to me to be a pretty primary target right now.
It is, and because I think that Netanyahu is serious about this mission now. I think he is going to take care of business. He sees this as his opportunity to do away with the near-term threat, because they realize if you're going to let the Houthis, the Hamas, and Hezbollah exist around them, they will never be clear of danger. So I think he's committed to finishing the job here, which means he's going to have to deal with these missiles.
Let me ask you again about the wider war. What would be the threshold, do you think, that would make this a wider war? What are you watching for to say that's a wider war?
I am very clear. we do not want American boots on the ground. We've sent like 40,000 troops there now. We do not want them to be engaged in ground combat in the Middle East. I don't think our citizens want it because of the forever wars in the sandbox. And frankly, I think we ought to defend Israel with our cordon, the carrier, the F-22s, the F-35s that we've got stationed there. But I don't want to see the U.S. drawn into a ground war in the Middle East.
The Biden administration sent another aircraft carrier to the Mediterranean, the Eastern Mediterranean there. Is the administration doing enough, do you think, right now to help defend Israel?
Well, that's the carrier group is a big statement. That's what it is. Now, it can help, but what it is meant to be, first of all, is a statement that we are supporting. Back to our letter, I think the best way they can support is release the weapons systems that Congress has authorized and appropriated to Israel so that they can defend themselves.
You answered one question, but let me just ask it for the record here. Do you see any situation at all in which the U.S. should deploy ground troops there to Israel, to Lebanon, to any of these other hotspots?
No, not the 40,000 that we see. And it's not that we don't deploy them, because we've got troops in many of these countries. I don't want to see them engaged in ground combat. That's what I don't want to see. Now, they've got security missions in various places around the Middle East. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about concentrated ground combat.
In direct response to this?
Yes.
Okay. I've heard some talk about Benjamin Netanyahu using what happened October 7th, 1 year ago tomorrow, to settle old scores and going after Hezbollah, invading a sovereign country there. What's your reaction to that?
My reaction to that is Israel, in the past, 4 times, has offered land for peace. They gave up the entire Sinai at one point, and it's never been accepted. Very few of the Arab Muslim countries have ever repudiated the 3 no's from Khartoum in 1967. Very few. So they still have, and Hezbollah and Hamas still have in their charters the destruction of Israel. So you have to understand what they're facing. How do you negotiate with someone that has never repudiated the idea that you don't have a right to exist?
So to physically exist. Monday marks 1 year since Hamas attacked Israel. Almost 50,000 people have died on both sides, the majority Palestinians so far. How does this end? When does it end?
I think it ends when Hamas releases all of the hostages, whether they're alive or dead, and they surrender. And then Israel will take over and decide how the security of Gaza looks. I think they're going to chop it up. I think they're going to hold the corridors. I think they're going to hold the Philadelphia corridor. And I think that they will make sure that they control the security. They may not be doing the security down at the ground level, but they control the security of Gaza, because now they understand, and as I said before, they want to take care of the near-term threats that they've lived under all these years.
But releasing the hostages, you think that's enough to end this?
I also said surrender. Release the hostages and basically surrender their combat capability. Now, they're getting close right now. I think Netanyahu said at the UN they're mopping up the last brigade.
But we have Hezbollah that's happening, southern Lebanon that's happening.
That's a different issue.
We have Iran also.
Right.
But overall, I mean, how does this thing come to a halt?
Overall?
Overall, they're in the middle. And I know they've been fighting for millennia here.
This will come to an end when Israel is satisfied with its security. And that's why the U.S. needs to be working with Israel to, one, defend themselves in the near term, and then make sure they don't face a major threat in the long term. One thing that I do not want to happen in this case is if Iran does truly get a nuclear weapon, Saudi Arabia will buy one, Turkey will want one, Egypt will want one, and we will see massive proliferation around the Middle East of nuclear weapons. We do not want that to happen. So it is vitally important in the U.S. national interest that we keep Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. Now, I believe that Israel has far better intelligence on the state of the Iranian nuclear program than we do, and they will act in their own best interest.
Sure.
I truly believe, because I've worked with the IDF for several years, and I will tell you, I believe that if they reach the point of no return, the Iranians do, Israel will act on their own with or without the U.S. support.
Congressman, thank you.
Thank you.